Greetings and shalom. I'm Pastor Dr. Joseph L. Williams, Senior Pastor of Salem Bible Church, Atlanta and Stonecrest. And I'm so glad and so thankful that you've taken the time to join me on today. Most times I want to kind of get to the point and want to be mindful of time, but there comes a time where it's important to give people context and backstory. Here at Salem Bible Church, we have one ministry in two locations. One church or one campus is the Atlanta campus, and it's in 30318. And then we have another campus that is in the Stonecrest community, which is 20 miles east of the SBC Atlanta campus. Here in the SBC Atlanta campus, we are in a food desert. It's 30318. It has one of the highest occurrences per Morehouse School of Medicine of diabetes in the entire state of Georgia, as well as it is in a food desert. Now, when you hear that term food desert, a lot of people don't know what that means. And basically it means that the people who live in a said or certain area do not have ample or adequate access to fresh fruits and vegetables. It's all about the numbers. If it's underserved, it's considered a food desert. And what many people don't understand is most food deserts occur in communities where people look like you and me, people of color, African Americans, and our Hispanic brothers and sisters. It's just how it is. But instead of us just sitting back and doing nothing, we wanted to do something for this community. So we started our own garden called Canaan Farms. And the people who sowed their dollars were individuals who wanted to dedicate certain trees, certain plants to their deceased loved ones. So the people of Salem Bible Church invested their dollars into that particular farm. And it was the first farm that was registered in the federal government agricultural database in 30318. And what we do is when we grow those crops, we don't sell those crops, but we give them to the people in this food desert through our social services department, which has fed innumerable families, not only in Atlanta, but Stonecrest as well. Because of the great work that the people here at Salem Bible Church have done and the work that we're doing in the community, we have partnered with many partners here locally, and we've been given grant dollars. And what we've been tasked to do, and we're so excited, is to teach you how to go back to the days of our grandparents and our great-grandparents, where we lived off of the land. I remember when I was growing up, we didn't eat processed foods out of boxes, but my grandfather grew turnip greens and collard greens and tomatoes. And I remember having those bushels and bags of food. But this is something that the generation of today don't understand. Everybody's about quick, fast, and in a hurry, but it's negatively impacting our health and wellness. Well, here at Salem Bible Church, in partnership with Sunshine Community Foundation, as well as the Journey Life Foundation, we want to, through the medium of education, teach you how to start your own garden, regardless of how small the garden is, even if you live in your own apartment complex or you don't have a lot of land. What we want to teach you is what's called micro gardens. We believe that if people have the education to start a garden, regardless of how limited the space is, then we can make a first step in order to living better, more healthily, as God has made us and equipped us. This is going to be a 3-part series, and I want you to watch all of them. You're going to see many great individuals. We have our own in-house farmer, Fred, who is he's the major principal of that Canaan Farms. He cares for it, and he was a part of the foundation of it. As well as you're going to have a great MC in my wife, the first lady of our church, and that is Lady Lynette Williams. So this is going to be installment 1, but there'll be 2 more installments that you're going to be able to hear the entire trilogy. I hope you enjoy this. I hope you like it, and we hope it's a blessing to you and your family. Until next time, be blessed. Farmer Fred.
Good day to you. My name is Fred Walker. I am the overseer of the farm in Atlanta named Canaan Farms. I am also a graduate of the 40-Day Turn-Up and the Journey. My journey consists of weighing 211 pounds and I've lost 36 pounds, so I weigh about 175 pounds as of now. All of that is contributed to what Dr. Joe has taught us and also better eating habits. And that leads us to why I'm here today. A lot of requests have come in from the village about how do I start a garden? What are the tools that is necessary? Can I start a garden where I live, in my backyard, or on my patio? Today we're going to answer all those questions. Today my job is to show you how to start a garden by using a raised bed, and also if you live in an apartment or a townhome, how to micro garden a garden tailored just for you. One of the things we must also first think about is, why do I want to start a garden? One of the main reasons, if you look in today's time, inflation, everything is high and everything is passed on to the consumers. So that's one good reason to start your own garden, whereby you can organically grow your own fresh fruits and vegetables. Number two, why would I want to start a garden? It takes too much time. Well, you don't have time to waste. Today is the day that you need to start thinking about what types of fruits and vegetables do you like, and that will reflect on what type of fruits and vegetables you would like to grow. Grow something you like eating: beans, zucchini, squash, tomatoes, okra. These nutrients and these fruits and vegetables have a lot of nutrients in them, as Dr. Joe has taught us. To get started, you've got to have the right mindset. You've got to look at the land of what you have to work with. Say if you live in an apartment or a townhome and you don't have a backyard, you want to get you a micro garden pot to start your plants. If you have land in a backyard, you want to go ahead and start looking at the acreage that you have. You need to start thinking about what types of fruits and vegetables you would like to grow, what type of tools are needed, and how is the drainage in the area where I'm thinking about planting. A lot of these factors come into place, but one of the key things that I realize, our farmers who are doing a fantastic job, they have an uphill battle. They have acres and acres of land whereby they provide fruits and vegetables to the public. Well, there's one thing about it. They're doing a fantastic job, but they have to keep those fruits and vegetables fresh until they get to the market. Sometimes they use pesticides, insecticides to keep the bugs away from the fruits and vegetables. When we grow our garden, it's strictly organic. We use no pesticides. We use no pesticides or insecticides. So what we want to do is begin to think about what we want to plant. I have a garden at home, and I have collards, bell peppers, zucchini, and tomatoes. Those are the veggies that our family likes to eat. And once you grow your own fruits and vegetables, the taste is fantastic. So to get started, what we would like to do is give you some insight and foresight to get your mind ready for the types of vegetables you would like to use. Look at the area where you will be planting your fruits and vegetables. And also, look at the zone where you may be living to see if it's conducive to the right planting area for your zone. For example, in the northeast part of the state, their winters may be a little bit longer, therefore their planting season in the spring may come a little later. For us here in Georgia, our planting season begins around March, April, May. So depending on where you live, depicts on the growing season that you can begin to go ahead and start planting your fruits and vegetables. But now it's the time to start planting that seed in your mind that you want to move forward. And that's where it begins, in the mind. Just like the process. Everybody wants to rush to it, go through it, get into it, but it takes time to sit down, process what you're about to get into, and prepare your mind, body, and soul to move forward, just like we go through the process. Same thing applies to fruits and vegetables that we plant. You just can't rush out there. What tools do you need? What soil do you need? How is the drainage? Will you have sunshine? All these are elements that you need to first think about in order to have a successful garden. It's just not dropping a seed, putting a plant in the ground, and then waiting for something to harvest. In the plant world, they're almost like a child. Plants have a plant life, a plant DNA, and we must treat them just like we do a child. Once we plant that plant into the ground, you just don't leave it. It has to be watered. It has to be nurtured. Sometimes you may want to talk to your plant for therapy, but those plants are there for us to have a relationship with. Just like Dr. Joe has talked to us about having a relationship with food. Having a relationship with your plants is the same thing. The more you give to that plant in its early stages, the better that plant and the healthier that plant's going to be as it grows older and becomes to a harvest for us to pick and to serve to our families. So once again, we're here to have a 3-part series. This first part is going to be conducive to the tools that are needed, the plants that are needed to start my garden, the acreage that is going to be used, and what type of materials will be used to start your garden. So with that being said, let's go ahead and go get our plants, get our tools, go to the hardware store, and let's go get started planting our garden today. Thank you. Well, we made it to Home Depot. Home Depot is one of our partners at Canaan Farms. So as we go inside looking at the veggies we're going to use, the tools we're going to use, and also be mindful of the growing region where you live. Let's go inside, get our tools, and get started in our garden. All right, here we are at our planting soil. I am going to give you 2 demonstrations on what to get and what not to get. What you want to do is use a vegetable garden planting soil. This is for trees and shrubs, so we would not use this, but we would use the red raised bed and potting mix. If you look at the soil, it has a lot of nutrients in it. A lot of these nutrients are time released, meaning it gives you extra nutrients as you go through the growing season. So this is one that we would use. So we would grab this one and we would use this to fill up either our micro garden pot or either our raised garden. All right. Grab that one. Now I'm going to show you what not to use. This is topsoil. Topsoil is nothing but the soil off the top. It has no nutrients. It has rocks in it, it has sticks in it, so you do not want to use this one. Good morning, how you doing? All right, so this is what you don't want to use as topsoil. Always use something that has good nutrients in it, like in a raised bed, but do not use the topsoil to put into your raised garden or your plants. Thank you. All right, we're gonna come your way. Can we come right behind you? Yes, ma'am, thank you so much. Once you begin to get your tomatoes raised, either in your raised bed or either on your porch, your tomato plants will begin to grow at a tall rate. So what you want to do is capture your tomato plants And this is called a tomato cage. And this is what you would plant around your tomato plant to keep it straight from bending over and lopping down. This is called a tomato cage if you're planting tomatoes in your raised bed or either your micro garden. A tomato cage, very important. Next, what you want to do, if you look at the variety of pots, this is for your micro garden. If you're planting, if you have a patio or townhouse and you don't have the land outside, you want to make sure you find a pot that's going to be conducive to letting water flow through it. Water does not need to be held within a bucket or something. It actually needs to flow through it so that the water can drain out from it. Let's go take a look at a couple of them. Now, this is a perfect plant pot for your plants. If you take a look at this, you punch the holes out here and maybe one here, and this is for drainage. If you're planting your plot, this gives you enough room for your plant to grow downward. And also, you punch the holes out here, it gives you drainage. So let's go ahead and grab this one, and let's go ahead and make this happen for our micro garden. Okay, next we are headed to the lumber department. We're going to get us some 2x4x8s for our raised garden bed. Come on. We are now in the lumber department. So what we're going to be looking for is 2x4x8s. We're going to get one of them cut. Let's go take a look at the lumber we're going to use for our raised bed. See, what we don't want to use, you got to look and inspect your wood. What we don't want to use is one that's split right here. So we'll go ahead and get another one. That one is split. We're going to need 3 of these. These are 2x4x8s or 10s, one of the two. Okay, these 3 boards we're going to go ahead and use. We're going to take one down to the lumber department and let it cut one in half. That gives us a 2x4x8 bed. So let's go ahead and get one of these cut. How you doing today?
I'm tired, man.
Oh man, just keep pushing forward, man. I hope you get strength enough to make it through the day.
Me too.
We just want to cut it right in half.
All right.
So what we're doing now, one of our Home Depot associates, that's a 2x4x8 or 2x4x10. What we're going to do is go ahead and get that cut in half, and that's going to be our sides of our garden. And once we get this cut, we'll get the other 2 pieces. We'll get our soil, and we'll also get the pot for the micro garden, and we'll go ahead and check out and go back to the farm. Have a great day, sir.
You do the same.
All right. All right, we've got our 2x4s cut. Let's go ahead and put it with the rest of our wood, and then let's head back to the tool department to show you the type of tools that you would need to get your garden started. Come on. Now, what we're going to do now, you're going to need some things to make sure that you are safe in your garden and to make sure that you water your raised garden and your bed efficiently. Let's go look at some gloves. First of all, what you want to do is just get you some type of gloves, some garden gloves. You want to ensure that you get you a nice watering hose to make sure that you efficiently water your bed. Sometimes you may want to use a sprinkler if you don't want to stand out there. But one thing about a sprinkler, you're going to have to let that water run a long time because what you're trying to do is get your soil soaked. So that's where it's good to use a water hose to get that done. Also, you're going to need some things like a shovel. If you have weeds and so forth, you're going to need shovels. If you're going to go ahead and use a water hose, you can go ahead and use one of these adjustable nozzles to water. So there's several sources that you can use to ensure that you have a successful garden, either raised bed or either a micro garden. Rakes, you're going to have weeds in your garden. So make sure that you use all the tools that are necessary, especially for taking care of your hands, keeping your hands safe from all harm and danger. Well, family, I think that wraps us up. It's pesticides over there. See, we're organic. We're not using any pesticides. So I think that wraps up our first segment. So let's go check out, get back to the garden, and let's go have some fun. Come on. All right, family, that was fun. Well, Village, what we've got our wood for our raised bed. We've got our rich nutrient soil for the garden, and we have our micro garden that we're going to go ahead. Remember, got to have those holes on the bottom so it can drain for our micro garden. So let's go ahead and get all this back to the garden, and let's go have some fun starting our garden. Thank you so much. Tune in for the next episode.